The wind whispered of a secret that could shatter empires. In a city bathed in gold and shadow, a beauty vanished. Her face radiant as the morning sun, yet her absence carried the weight of destiny. No one knew where she had gone, or who would pay the price. The world held its breath, and even the gods leaned closer, their eyes gleaming with fire and intent. This was the spark that would ignite a war, whispered through eternity. And in that fragile moment of silence, destiny quietly sharpened its blade, preparing to carve a legend into the memory of the world. Helen, whose beauty could silence the storms, was taken by Paris, Prince of Troy. Her laughter, her eyes, her very being became the prize that would call forth kings, heroes, and armies. Even the winds seemed to pause in awe of her radiance, and the rivers whispered her name as if carrying omens of the great storm to come. Every glance of hers ignited desire and dread alike, setting hearts and kingdoms trembling in anticipation. Helen had been taken against her will, and in that moment, the hearts of men and the eyes of gods alike were drawn into the flames of war. For in her beauty burned a power so profound that it stirred both devotion and ruin, as if the very gods had woven destiny into the light of her eyes. From the shores of Greece to the walls of Troy, whispers spread like wildfire. A war is coming. The earth will tremble, and the gods themselves will choose sides. The seas heaved with unease, as if sensing the clash of destinies soon to unfold. Shadows lengthened over the land, carrying the quiet tension of a world holding its breath, where every heartbeat seemed to echo the drum of looming battle. And across the restless horizon, fate gathered its dark clouds, promising that the coming storm would reshape the destiny of heroes and kingdoms alike. The tension built, every breath heavy with anticipation. Heroes polished their armor, swords glinting in the dawn. The wind carried the scent of blood yet to fall, yet the hearts of men beat fiercely with courage and love. Even the morning sun seemed to hesitate, casting long, trembling shadows over the fields, as if the earth itself awaited the first clash. Each heartbeat of the warriors rang like a drum of fate, and the very air shimmered with the promise of glory and the weight of destiny. In that charged stillness before the storm, even the smallest whisper of steel seemed to echo like a vow sworn to destiny itself. Two names would echo forever from the fields of battle, feet danced faster than the wind, and whose rage burned brighter than the sun. Hector, Troy's steadfast guardian, noble, strong, the heartbeat of a city under siege. Their shadows stretched across the battlefield, like living legends carved into the very soil. Every step, every glance carried the weight of destiny, as if the earth itself trembled beneath the force of their wills. And though they faced each other as enemies, the brilliance of their courage shone in equal measure, illuminating the war with its fiery glow. Steel clashed with steel, shields cracked, arrows rained like silver lightning, yet above it all, the gods whispered in invisible threads, pulling hearts and fate alike, crafting a story that no mortal could escape. The battlefield roared like a living storm, each cry of warriors echoing through the heavens. Sparks flew from clashing swords, dancing in the dust, while the wind carried the mingled scent of smoke, sweat, and destiny. Even the clouds seemed alive, swirling in dark anticipation of the fates yet to be written. Suspense lay in every corner. Each jewel, each arrow loosed, carried the weight of life and death. The sky churned, as though the heavens themselves feared the fury below. Shadows danced across the battlefield, hiding silent threats and whispered intentions. Every heartbeat seemed magnified, every glance a silent omen, as if time itself had slowed to witness the trembling balance between courage and doom. In that fragile pause between strikes, destiny hovered unseen, waiting for a single heartbeat to decide who would rise as legend and who would fade into silence. Amid the chaos, a plan whispered through the night like a ghost. A wooden horse, hollow yet full of menace, promised victory wrapped in deception. The Trojans, weary from endless war, saw hope and welcomed it within their walls. Moonlight glimmered on its silent form, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to breathe with hidden intent. Every cheer and sigh of relief was tinged with an unseen tension, as if fate itself had leaned closer, holding its breath for the moment when truth would pierce the night. And yet, every shadow held a secret. Every cheer hid a heartbeat of dread. Who could sense the doom that slept silently inside the horse? The city slept in uneasy calm, unaware that treachery had found a quiet home within their walls. Even the wind seemed to whisper warnings, carrying faint echoes of a fate that would soon awaken in fire and steel. But beneath the quiet breath of the sleeping city, destiny stirred slowly in the darkness, waiting for the moment when silence would shatter into ruin. Suspense clung to the air like a living thing. The city teetered on the edge between triumph and tragedy, and the gods unseen smiled cruelly at the folly of men. Every torch flickered as if hesitant to light the path ahead, while the walls of Troy seemed to hold their breath, sensing the storm that lurked within their gates. Fate hovered like a shadow, ready to tip the balance between glory and ruin in the blink of an eye. For in that trembling stillness, destiny waited patiently, knowing that before the next dawn, a city of legends would stand at the edge of its final hour. Night fell, heavy and suffocating. The wooden horse trembled as heroes slipped silently, like shadows born of vengeance. Fire leapt from rooftops. Screams painted the darkness red. The city's proud walls shivered under the weight of chaos, and every echo seemed to carry both despair and the cruel laughter of fate. Even the stars hid behind thick clouds, unwilling to witness the fall of a kingdom drenched in fire and sorrow. Troy, the city of golden walls and proud hearts, fell under a storm of steel and smoke. Flames danced along the towers, as if the heavens themselves wept, and the once mighty streets echoed with the silent cries of a kingdom undone. Every stone, every shadow seemed to mourn the glory that had been swallowed by fire and destiny. And as the flames devoured the splendor of Troy, the night itself seemed to remember that even the mightiest kingdoms can crumble beneath the relentless hand of fate. Hector lay fallen, Achilles' wrath satisfied only by the weight of loss. The gods, silent witnesses, turned their gaze elsewhere, leaving mortals to taste the bitter fruits of fate. The battlefield lay cloaked in sorrow and smoke, each fallen warrior a story of courage and pain. Even the winds seemed heavy with mourning, carrying whispers of glory lost and the echo of dreams that would never rise again. Even in ruin, legends were born. Names whispered on the wind: Achilles, Hector, Odysseus, Helen, immortalized not for victory or defeat, but for the fire they carried in life and the echo they left in death. Their spirits lingered in the shadows of Troy, dancing with the smoke and embers of a fallen city. Every whispered name seemed to shimmer like a star against the night, reminding the world that courage, love, and sacrifice endure far beyond the grasp of time. The war ended, yet its story lingered, like embers glowing long after the flame has died. Troy was gone, but its memory burned brighter than ever. Heroes faded into whispers, love and betrayal became timeless lessons, and the gods, ever watchful, remembered every triumph and every folly. Even the winds seemed to carry fragments of their courage, scattering tales of valor and heartbreak across distant lands. Time itself bowed to the echoes of Troy, ensuring that every lesson, every tear, and every act of heroism would never be forgotten. Some say that the wind still carries the cries of that night, and that those who listen can feel the heartbeat of a city lost, and the courage of heroes that time cannot erase. Even now, the shadows of Troy seem to whisper in the quiet moments, and the stars above twinkle, as if recalling the valor and sorrow that once burned beneath them. Every sigh of the breeze carries the weight of memory, reminding the world that legends never truly fade. They live wherever hearts dare to remember. So remember, dear friends, even in the shadows of ruin, courage can shine. Even in the echo of betrayal, legends are born. And in the clash of mortals and gods, stories are woven that will never die. For in the heart of myth, in the world of gods and heroes, every ending is only the beginning of a tale waiting to be told. And if this legend stirred your imagination, let your support light the path of many more tales. Offer a like, share this story with fellow dreamers, and join our journey by subscribing. For beyond this tale, countless myths still whisper in the shadows, waiting for us to awaken them together.